Have you ever told anyone what you believe? What did you tell them? And how did you do that? The way we say things and the reason we say them can make a whole lot of difference in how they are received, can't they? My name is Ian Currey and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. A little while ago, I got an interesting email from a train operating company in England. Now, for those of you who don't know, trains in Britain used to be run by a national rail group called British Rail. Now, some of us who are train enthusiasts look back on those days with some nostalgia. The trains were mostly all the same colours, uniforms standard, and signs at stations all looked the same. Lovely. But isn't it funny the way we look back fondly on things that really didn't work at all at the time? Another way to remember the good old days of British Rail would be to remember that almost all the trains were covered in the same grime. Trains were overcrowded, unreliable, and needed some serious help. That help came from train operating companies who compete for the right to run their trains over the national rail network. Every so often, these TOCs are reassessed. In English culture, there's an expression that we sometimes use when things start going badly wrong. What a way to run a railway! Usually, we use it when things aren't working how we think they should. Things are not working together or just seem very obviously messed up. The old national system indeed ran trains, but sometimes they seemed to not be thinking about why they were running trains. Trains don't run to move trains around, trains run to move people and goods around. Now, that might sound obvious, but let me give you an example. When I was at college in Canterbury, there were a couple of ways to ride the train from where I lived to get me there. The trouble was that there's no direct route, and a change was always needed, either at a place called Minster or going the other way at Dover. Whichever I went, the connection to the ongoing train wasn't designed for my journey. Since trains from Dover could reach London either via Ashford to Charing Cross or London Victoria via Canterbury, no consideration was made for people like me who didn't want to go to London. We were just going to Canterbury. I once asked why the connection didn't work, and the answer was very telling. Why would anybody want to do that? These trains go to London. Well, yes, they do, but they stop along the way too. No thought of people actually making real journeys seems to have been made. Instead, I'd have almost an hour to wait for the next train going where I wanted to go. Now, some of you will remember the advertising campaign that ran back then. This is the age of the train. And indeed, there seemed to be more thought about the vehicle than the passengers. So, what was that email I received? Why was a train operating company contacting me? Not too long ago, you may recall we took a journey by rail in England. One of the trains had been running about half an hour late. We'd had to wait while a tree was removed and it had fallen across the line. The email was apologising for any inconvenience caused and refunding a portion of our fare. Ooh. Oh, how times have changed, eh? I must say, I was very pleasantly surprised. I mentioned this to a friend who said, it's probably because they have a review coming up or something. Skeptic. Maybe. Certainly, they were behaving as if they were under review. In just a few days, I'll be riding trains operated by that same company again. Curiosity got the better of me. I looked to see how the company were advertising and what other people were saying about the company. You know, the sort of thing. We are the greatest, or we're loving it, or something like that. Nothing. Just a clean website with a list of times the trains run and a list of prices for the tickets. So how is this train company getting so many people to ride its trains? How are they so popular? Why are their reviews so fantastic? The reason I'm booking another ticket is not the price, not even the destination. There are several ways to get to where I'm going. No, the reason I'm coming back to ride that train again is that they are behaving their beliefs. Now, what on earth do I mean by that? Behaving beliefs. Well, this train company set out to be a reliable, on-time railway company, and when they aren't, they say sorry and make it right. They don't brag about being the best or put fancy adverts up all over the place. They just get on and behave in ways that demonstrate they are the best. A good friend once told me, when your work speaks for itself, don't interrupt. And what he was saying is that our actions speak louder than our words. If we're doing a good job, we don't need to tell people we're doing a good job. They'll know. Let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. Did you notice that Jesus said, let your good deeds shine out, and didn't say, let your good deeds shout out? The idea here, of course, is that telling people you follow Jesus is much easier than letting them work it out for themselves because of the way you behave. The very same idea comes when we tell people we love them. Do your actions actually demonstrate that you love them, or are you just using words that don't illustrate what you're actually doing? When the train is always on time and when it isn't, you say sorry and refund the fare, you don't need to say, look at us, our trains are on time. The passengers know already. Now, quite apart from getting me where I'm going on time, I'm sure I'll find an opportunity to take a few pictures and enjoy the journey at the same time. Until next time, goodbye.
Now approaching platform 2,